But if you to wait, the deteriorating state of roads in the southeast, is it much of the as much for the traffic in the or the peculiar nature of the southeast, or that of neglect on the part of the federal agencies responsible for the repair or reconstruction of these roads?
I wouldn't say it's total neglect. I think that the traffic in the east is heavy because the east simply happens to be that region that joins, that is the interlink between the ports where we import our goods and the hinterland. And secondly, I say there's peculiar environmental issues and problems of soil erosion and the rest of them that have played into most of the problems we have.
Let's do a quick audit on some of these roads now. How much is a road repair cost per kilometer, averagely?
It depends on the road. You will know that recently there has been an award of rehabilitation of Abuja Kano Road at a cost of about 150 plus billion, and that's about a 400-kilometer road. So you can take your calculations from there. This is basically a dual carriageway expressway comparable to Lagos Ibadan, and Lagos Ibadan also is costing a similar sum of money.
How much?
I don't know the figures now. It's a Federal Ministry of Works contract, but I think it is now driving towards 150 now. At one time it used to be 80, and now it
80
is
to 150 million.
Yes.
Okay. But there are complaints about the quality of roads being repaired. We see some of these roads being repaired, and in a couple of days it goes back to that sorry state. So what's responsible for this?
It's obviously, if it goes after a few days, it's poor quality workmanship. Poor quality work, poor quality material, and the way to tackle that is to have better management of the construction process and better supervision.
The public would like to see FERMA come up with a zero tolerance to substandard repairs.
I'll give you an example. The Kaduna Abuja highway axis there was a quick emergency repair sometime last year around the time of the rehabilitation of the airport, and a lot of those spots we are there repairing now because they had gone bad. Of course, what we have instituted is measures to ensure that these do not come bad just as soon as we replace them.
We've heard of situations where contractors collect money and they abscond. What are you doing to punish defaulters or defaulting contractors?
Well, it doesn't happen that way. All contracts of federal government include bonds, bank bonds. If any contractor that collects advance payment, that will be strictly in accordance with the Public Procurement Act, and that is that it has to give a valid bank guarantee, and it should not be more than 15%. And subsequent payments will be recovering gradually the payments that have been done upfront.
Why would you want to look the other way from the allegation that the procurement system is sometimes being inflated? Because this was discussed at the floor of the National Assembly.
I don't know the specifics of what is inflated, but in FERMA, for instance, I know the basic rates that we have across the zones of items of work. I know the process it goes through before it is evaluated. I know that there have been complaints even by contractors that some of the rates are insufficient. But I also know that there have been complaints that it's a very slow process because it has to follow all the steps of the public procurement process.
So what would you like to see? Because you talked about this, going with the second aspect of it, which talks about the tortuous aspects of procurement, like almost passing through the eye of a needle, what would you want to see in the review of Nigeria's Procurement Act?
I would want to see something in the review that takes peculiar consideration of emergency situations. For instance, in FERMA, we frequently have to deal with emergency situations where a certain section of a country or a state is cut off, and you now really need to move quickly, either as direct labor or if it is beyond your capacity, to get a contractor to go and to immediately arrest the situation first and then reconstruct the section.
Why you were saying, maybe this will be a final note now. Why you're saying that the procurement system is torturous? On the other side, the Senate is alleging the diversion of 634.8 billion naira into an unknown account. Who collected this money? Where did this money go?
Now, I think that amount that was mentioned has to do with the fact that the FERMA Act Amendment 2007 provided that there should be 5% provision from the petroleum products pricing into the FERMA Road Repairs Fund. And that, if you calculate the amount that should have been due to that fund to date, then presumably it is more than 630 billion. That was the context in which I understand the figure to have been said. Otherwise, we've not heard that figure in any of the road sectors in any particular year. I don't think that amount of money would be referring to amounts that have been collected by contractors.
Okay, before we wind down this conversation, could you look into the camera and tell Nigerians that you won't allow any contractor to collect funds without implementing their projects?
Well, I will not allow any contractor to collect advance payments and get away from the contract without implementing the project. And if he does that, I will go to the last point to see that the consequences are fully borne by the contractor.
Engineer Nuruddin Abdurrahman Rafin Daddy, thank you so much for making our time to be part of this episode of Question Time. Thank you very much indeed for the insight. Very amazing. Thank you very much.
Benga.
We should be glad
to be here. Thank you. Thank you very much.
And that's it on this edition of Question Time from Channels Television. What's your take on the state of federal roads? Is the federal government doing enough in the federal highways close to your base? You can send us a comment on our social media platforms showing on your screen. Join us next week for a fresh episode of the show from Channels Television. Many thanks for watching. I'm Benga Ashuru. Bye for now.